Welcome to Epic Fables, the channel where we bring you inspiring stories and actionable advice to help you live your best life. In today's video, we're going to explore a quote by Jimmy Dean: "I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination." This quote reminds us that life is unpredictable, and things don't always go as planned. However, we have the power to control our reactions to these unexpected twists and turns. In other words, we can't always change the situation, but we can adjust our sails and keep moving towards our goals. Let's take a closer look at the breakdown of the quote "I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination" by Jimmy Dean. Firstly, it's important to note that the wind is a metaphor for the unpredictable and uncontrollable events that occur in our lives. Just like the wind can change direction at any moment, life can throw unexpected challenges our way that we have no control over. However, even though we can't change the direction of the wind, we do have control over our own actions and reactions. This is where the second part of the quote comes in: "But I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination." Sails on a boat are what allow it to move forward, and they can be adjusted to catch the wind in different ways. In life, adjusting our sails means adapting our plans, attitudes, and actions to make the best of the situation at hand. By doing so, we can continue moving towards our goals, even if the path we take is different than we initially planned. So the breakdown of the quote can be summarized as follows: while we may not have control over the direction of the wind, or the unexpected events in life, we do have control over how we respond to them. We can adjust our sails by being adaptable, open-minded, and focused on our goals. Ultimately, this will help us navigate the winds of life and reach our destination, no matter what obstacles come our way. Let's break down this quote into actionable items that we can implement in our lives. Actionable item 1: be flexible. Flexibility is key when things don't go as planned. It's important to be open to new ideas, perspectives, and opportunities. When we're too rigid in our thinking, we may miss out on potential solutions to our problems. To be more flexible, we can try new things, challenge our assumptions, and be open to feedback. For example, if we're struggling to lose weight, we can be flexible in our approach to exercise and nutrition. Maybe we've been stuck in a rut doing the same workout routine every day, or eating the same meals. By being flexible and trying new workouts, or experimenting with new healthy recipes, we can find what works best for us and reach our weight loss goals. Actionable item 2: focus on what you can control. When things are out of our control, it's easy to feel helpless and powerless. However, by focusing on what we can control, we can regain a sense of agency and feel more empowered. We can't always control the situation, but we can control our reaction to it. This means focusing on our attitude, effort, and actions. For example, if we're stuck in a job that we don't like, we can focus on what we can control, such as our attitude towards our work and our effort. We can choose to have a positive attitude, even if we don't enjoy the work itself. We can also put in extra effort, take on new challenges, and look for ways to learn and grow. Actionable item 3: keep a positive attitude. Finally, keeping a positive attitude can make all the difference in achieving our goals. When we approach challenges with a positive mindset, we're more likely to find solutions and stay motivated. A positive attitude can also help us bounce back from setbacks and failures. For example, if we're trying to start our own business and we experience a setback, such as a failed marketing campaign, we can choose to see it as a learning opportunity. We can focus on what we learned from the experience, and use that knowledge to improve our future campaigns. By keeping a positive attitude, we can stay motivated and committed to our goals. In summary, to adjust our sails and reach our destination, we can be flexible, focus on what we can control, and keep a positive attitude. By implementing these actionable items in our lives, we can face challenges with resilience and determination, and ultimately achieve our goals. Now, let's illustrate these actionable items with a story. Once upon a time, there was a man named Jack who dreamed of starting his own business. He had a great idea and had done his research, but when he presented his plan to investors, they rejected him. Jack was devastated. He had put so much time and effort into his idea, and now it seemed like all his hard work had been for nothing. Jack was at a crossroads. He could either give up on his dream or he could adjust his sails and keep moving forward. After some soul-searching, Jack decided to adjust his sails. He knew that he couldn't control the investors' decisions, but he could control his own actions. Jack took a step back and evaluated his plan. He realized that he had been too narrowly focused on one idea and hadn't considered other options. He decided to pivot his business idea and explore other opportunities. He reached out to other entrepreneurs, attended networking events, and did more research. He was flexible and willing to adapt his plan based on the feedback he received. Months went by, and Jack finally found an investor who believed in his new idea. He launched his business and it was a huge success. Looking back, Jack realized that if he had given up when he was rejected by the first investors, he never would have discovered his new and even better idea. Jack's story is a perfect example of Jimmy Dean's quote in action. He couldn't change the fact that the investors rejected him, but he could adjust his sales by being flexible, exploring other options, and staying positive. In the end, he was able to reach his destination and achieve his dream. So remember, life is unpredictable and things don't always go as planned. But like Jack, we can adjust our sails and keep moving forward towards our goals, no matter what obstacles come our way. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share,